Coming to you live from our studios in Belize City, this is the evening news on Love Television for Friday, August 26th. We'll get you started with a look at the stories that are making the headlines for today. Member of Cayos South suspended from the House of Representatives. Baby kidnapped in Bella Vista in the Stan Creek district found in Belize City. Foreign Affairs Minister details the OAS reports on shooting of Guatemalan minor. Churches will protest in Belmopan, and media roughed up by law enforcement officials. Today's sitting of the House of Representatives was billed as a memorable one since it would be the first one on the heels of the recent audit report detailing a number of irregularities within the Department of Immigration and Nationality. The churches and other organizations also planned a protest to coincide with today's sitting. We will have more on the protest a little later, but we will start tonight with what transpired within the National Assembly. Speaking on the adjournment, area representative for Cayos South, Julius Aspat, said based on the Auditor General's report, he would speak on corruption in public life. A little ways into his presentation, he got into a back and forth with House Speaker Michael Perifeet.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister has even passed laws to fix...
Remember, you realize that the appointment of the 13th Senator has nothing to do with the Public Accounts Committee?
But I'm not talking about the Public Accounts Committee.
But you're talking about two different things.
I'm talking about many different things.
You can talk, but you can only talk about one thing. But
everything falls under corruption, Mr. Speaker?
Man,
of course it does.
No.
Mr. Speaker, what is your definition of corruption?
Listen to me. I'm telling you that you're not speaking on one issue on the adjournment, and you need to do that.
I am speaking on corruption in public life.
That's too broad.
You didn't say that in the beginning?
No, I mean, listen, I thought you were going to get to your point.
You can't think what I am thinking.
Listen to me. I'll give you another minute. If you continue this way, you will have to sit down and discontinue your speech. Get to it, man. Go on radio and talk 10 hours if you want, on anything you want. But in here has rules.
What's the rules?
I don't have the time to read the whole thing for you.
You have to have the time. The people pay you to listen to us. When you have the Prime Minister insulting this gentleman by name and you are giving them opportunities to do that, and I am talking about good governance. What is your problem, Mr. Speaker?
The problem is they pay me to ensure that you do your job.
They pay you to block me.
And
that's what they pay you for.
You know what? That statement, can I get a minister to name this person, please? You're going to tell me. You're going to tell me.
It's a joke. It's a joke. You are a mercenary for that government.
Can I get a minister to name this person?
It is ridiculous that a member of the House cannot speak about good governance in this country.
Can I get a minister of government to name this person?
Go over there. Thieves. There is nothing that I have done that is illegal or against the orders of this House.
Can I get a minister to name this individual?
Anyone there, thief raise their hand and they know that who.
Relax.
Let me
see
who is the one that will do it. Can I get a minister
to name this person?
Because I am speaking on good governance. Let's see who will do it.
Relax.
Let them raise their hands.
So no minister is prepared to name this person?
Bring it on. Mr. Speaker, the reason that you don't want me to debate is because I'm bringing up issues that the Auditor General has put in a report.
Former Prime Minister Right Honorable Said Musa tried to intervene, as did Opposition Leader John Bersenio and Minister Michael Finnegan. However, the House Speaker would have none of it, and after asking a couple times for a spot to be named, this was done by Minister for Foreign Affairs Wilfred Ellerington.
Mr. Speaker,
I'll hear from you, Leader of the Opposition.
I'm asking you to please reconsider what you have asked. There are many instances, Mr. Speaker.
Relax. Silence over here. Go ahead, leader. Go ahead, leader.
When both sides have hurled all kind of insults,
Not like that.
and they have called all sort of insults to the honorable member from Kayo South, and I did not see you ask the individuals to pull back those comments. And whilst, Mr. Speaker, as what the Right Honorable, the former Prime Minister has said, both sides have gotten overexcited. And
No, just him. It was only him.
And the honorable member from Kayo South was saying that he was prepared to apologize, Mr. Speaker. Today we have some very important matters to discuss. There are important matters to discuss, Mr. Speaker. We have not had a House meeting since when? Since the month of March. I know you want to kick out the honorable member. You want to kick out all of us. That's what you want to do. You want to get rid of the opposition, Mr. Speaker. I'm asking you, sir, to please reconsider. The honorable member from Kayo South is prepared to apologize, sir.
You really asking me if I want to get rid of the entire...
But that's what you want to do, sir. If you are going to kick out this honorable member, how can we just stay here, Mr. Speaker, and take it lightly? This is something very serious.
How can I stay in this chair and take lightly what he said to me?
That's why he is prepared. He was prepared to apologize to you, sir.
He repeated
He was prepared to apologize. He's prepared to apologize to you, sir.
Well, leader of the
I'm
opposition...
asking you to please reconsider.
Leader of the opposition, only a minister can name a member of this House. If you can convince your ministers not to do that, then that's fine with me. But if a minister is prepared...
But you asked for it, sir.
I asked for it, but I can't do it. If a minister is not... If no minister is prepared to name him, then he won't be named.
But somebody finally, after you asked what, almost about 50 times, finally the Honorable Foreign Minister decided to do it, sir?
Listen, are you prepared, Foreign Minister, to suspend that
Foreign
person?
Minister, let's be civil to one another.
Mr. Speaker, perhaps I can read the relevant provision of the standing order. It says, if a member shows disregard for the authority of the chair or abuses the rules of the House by persistently and willfully obstructing the business of the House or otherwise, the Speaker shall direct the attention of the House thereto, mentioning by name the member concerned. The Speaker shall then call upon a minister to move that Mr. So-and-so be suspended from the service of the House. And the Speaker shall forthwith put the question, no single seconder being required and no amendment, adjournment, or debate being allowed. It is premised on the issue as to whether or not a member shows disregard for the authority of the chair. If you replay the tape, you can't excuse his conduct. Irrespective of the behavior of the chair, his conduct is unpardonable. I personally have no tolerance for rude behavior nor corrupt behavior, but rude behavior is as bad as corrupt behavior. I have no tolerance. So if you are rude, I call upon the Speaker to suspend you.
Espat would refuse to leave his seat, and so law enforcement authorities were brought in. After there was no headway being made, the authorities then asked the media to vacate the gallery so they could remove Espat. But following the naming of the Kayo South Area representative, the media was as per usual in their assigned spot within the National Assembly when the law enforcement officials demanded that they too get out. Journalists were left bewildered since an historic event was unfolding before their eyes, and they were in essence being told they could not do their job. Things got extremely heated when media was forcibly removed. One man who went down fighting was Channel 7's Jules Vasquez. He told us why it was important to stand his ground.
We have to stay in the House. That's our job, right? And so I've been doing that job for 20 odd years, and I know the Speaker controls the House. Speaker not tell me for left. So the law enforcement can't tell me for left when history happened there. So I objected on that ground that we have to do a job, and they cannot remove us. We're not committing any crime. Anyway, they removed me forcibly. I don't feel no way about that. That's my job. I don't care. I mean, I regret that we missed the shot. That's the way I regret.
We had hoped hoped to get a word from the Prime Minister, given this was the first time we were witnessing such an occurrence. However, it was not to be, as once again the media was jolted and kept away from the Prime Minister as he was escorted to his vehicle. We go back to some of the business that took place within the National Assembly. Foreign Minister Wilfred Ellington presented the official report that was delivered to him yesterday by the OAS representatives.
Findings of the investigation are: the incident occurred in the early nightfall, sometime between 6:15 and 7 p.m. of 28 April 2016 in the Sabada area of the Chiquibull National Park in Belize, when the deceased Julio Rene Alvarado Ruano, accompanied by his father Carlos Alfredo Alvarado Ramirez and younger brother Carlos Alberto Alvarado Ruano, were returning home to Guatemala, having entered Belize illegally and having been conducting illegal activities in Belize, when they walked into some elements of a Belizean patrol comprised of Belize Defense Force personnel and personnel from the non-governmental organization Friends for Conservation and Development. The incident occurred 562 meters east of the border or adjacency line, well inside Belize. A Guatemalan minor, Julio Rene Alvarado Ruano, 14 years old, was killed. Injured were his father, Carlos Alfredo Alvarado Ramirez, 48 years old, who had a pellet to the left knee, and his brother, Carlos Alberto Alvarado Ruano, 12 years, who also had shot to his left elbow. The three persons were in the regular habit of entering Belize illegally to conduct illegal activities such as hunting and farming in Belize's protected areas of the Chiquibull. The father confirmed that he had been entering Belize for many years and that he was fully aware that he was engaging in illegal activities in Belize. Despite knowing this, he encouraged his children to accompany him and also engage in illegal activities. The deceased Julio Rene Alvarado had already been detained in Belizean territory on March 2, 2016, a month before his death by a Belizean patrol. He, along with others who escaped at the time, were engaged in illegal hunting. He had in his possession 2 gibnuts that had been shot and killed. Such activities are illegal in Belize's protected areas, but considering that he was a minor, the Belizean patrol chose not to arrest him on that occasion and instead gave him a strong warning and set him free to return safely to his home in Guatemala. The deceased received 8 shots, 2 of which entered from a front to back direction and 6 that entered from a back to front direction. The first shots to him were 2 12-gauge pellets on the front shoulder. It is likely that when he first heard shots, he turned around to run, which explains how he received the first 2 shots from the front and then others from the back. All the shots he received were produced by bullets from a .22 caliber rifle and pellets from a 16-gauge shotgun. The wounds received by the father, Carlos Alvarado Ramirez, and the brother, Carlos Alberto Ruano, were from pellets produced by a 12-gauge type shotgun. The caliber 5.56 M4 carbine used by the BDF did not produce any injury on the deceased nor on any of the wounds on the father and the brother of the deceased. There is evidence that shots were fired from where the Ramirez family was located towards the Belizean patrol. The scene of the incident was tampered with and valuable evidence was collected and retrieved by Guatemalan nationals before the OAS representatives or the independent experts could visit the site. This was done by villagers of San Jose, Las Flores, Guatemala, who in the morning after the incident entered Belize illegally and visited the scene, as well as by soldiers of the Guatemalan army who also entered illegally into Belizean territory the day after the incident and visited the site. The findings seem to confirm that indeed the Belizean patrol responded to shotgun fire and after it had ordered the individuals to stop, and that none of the shots fired by the BDF caused any harm to the Guatemalan nationals.
Magdalena Tamales will speak with the media tomorrow at the Adjacency Zone office. Since the report has in effect vindicated Belize's armed forces, the media asked Foreign Minister Ellington if they would be asking for an apology, given their initial reaction to the situation which painted Belize in a very negative light on the international scene.
The important thing is that we remain cordial with the Guatemalans, that we deal with them in a way whereby they will be able to act in a more friendly way towards us. We need to have a win-win situation. We can't afford to have a controversial, contested relationship. We in particular are too strong, are too small.
Earlier this month, Hurricane Earl hit Belize and caused quite a substantial amount of damages. Today, Prime Minister Dean Barrow detailed the extent of the damages.
The damages and losses so far is at 26 August 2016 in the social sector, education and health, 0.3 million, Ministry of Education. There were, I think, roofs and other portions of school buildings that were damaged. In health, 3.7 million. Housing, 17.8 million. Agriculture, 77 million. Tourism, 48 million. Aquaculture, 11.8 million. Roads and bridges, 2.94 million. BL, 10 million. BTL, 1.8 million. Forest, beach, marine protected area cleanup, Belize City, 10.52 million. A total of 183.86 million. And this amount does not include values for BWS Islands and Western Corridor cleanup. Now, the humanitarian relief and recovery costs so far, 7.7 million, 191.56 million total. In terms of the humanitarian relief and recovery cost, up to this point in time, more than 12,000 people have been or are being assisted with food, drinking water, cleaning supplies, personal hygiene items, tarps, plastic sheeting and mattresses, household items, and housing material. The 12,000 persons assisted is from the total of 4,684 households, or 17,234 persons assessed in the entire Belize district, parts of the Cayo district, including Belmopan and surrounding communities, Orange Walk and Stand Creek districts.
A couple of Sundays ago, the vehicle assigned to Deputy Prime Minister Patrick Faber ended up in the Caribbean Sea. According to Faber, his vehicle was stolen earlier that day. Today, opposition leader John Briceño asked the Prime Minister whether the government would be replacing the vehicle.
I don't know whether it's a total wreck or not. We've not been given that report yet. But if it is to be repaired, yes, government will pay for the repairs. If it is to be replaced, I am prepared to have government pay for the replacement. On the same basis, there is a cap. Cap will be bounced a little now that the minister is Deputy Prime Minister, but we won't go above 100,000. But why should we not? He is not at fault. He never drove the vehicle into the sea. He wasn't negligent. If he left the vehicle in charge of a friend that, as far as he knew, was trustworthy, and the vehicle was stolen, how is he to blame for that? So yes, sir, we will pay for the repairs. We will pay for a replacement.
The opposition leader also queried the status of former Chief Executive Officer Candelaria Saldivar Morter, who was placed on administrative leave more than a year ago. According to Briceño, despite being on leave, Morter continues to receive her full salary, along with the benefits and allowances. This is how the Prime Minister responded.
Mrs. Morter is not a contract officer. When she was made CEO, it was a promotion. She's a public servant. And so when she was put on administrative leave, or agreed to go on administrative leave, there was not any question of giving notice to put an end to her contract as CEO. She is, I repeat, a public officer, and in the normal course does not exit the public service until she reaches retirement age. So the current position is that we have not yet been able to find an office to which we will reassign her. We have to make sure that she doesn't lose any benefits by way of the reassignment. She is therefore still on administrative leave with her full benefits, we hope to, it is long outstanding. We hope to sort it out very shortly if there simply is not another public service position that is on the same level that she's prepared to accept. We will discuss with her retirement in the interest of the service. But in the meantime, she continues to get her benefits. Yeah.
The Prime Minister said the situation will be resolved shortly. 9-month-old baby Aiden Matos was taken from his home by 2 kidnappers, with one being described as a man dressed in full black and another as being tall and of dark complexion, reportedly after entering their home. Upon barging into the home located in Bella Vista Village, Stan Creek District, the men pointed a firearm at the mother, took the baby, and demanded that a ransom of $50,000 be paid for the child's return. A national search was started shortly after, and Jasmine alert was sent out to the media and shared on social media. Last night, just after 10 o'clock, the child was found in Belize City, inside the Lord Ridge Cemetery. The child disappeared from Independence Village and reappeared more than 100 miles away in the south side of Belize City. Assistant Commissioner of Police Chester Williams spoke about the recovery of the child.
Last night, shortly after 10 p.m., the child was found in the cemetery area, and police went and located the child. The child was taken to the domestic violence unit and then to the hospital to ensure that the child was in good state. And thankfully, the child was unharmed, and I believe by now the child has been reunited with his parents. A neighbor or someone who lives in that vicinity notified the police that they saw the child, and they went and they located the child, and they called the police, and the police went in and retrieved the child from there. There are certain information that we do have that we're following that I will not be privy to say to you all at this time because the investigation is still ongoing, and I do not want to put too much information out there that could alert those persons who may be responsible that we are on their trail.
The circumstances regarding the abduction of the baby are still unknown, as police have shared only minimal details. Witnesses say they saw a man drop the baby off and take off immediately after. Baby Aiden is reported to be in good health. Today, a protest was organized by the churches along with several organizations to coincide with the House meeting. Love News spoke with President of the National Evangelical Churches of Belize, Pastor Lance Lewis.
I am here because I stand against the ruling by the Chief Justice to remove sodomy from the laws of Belize, and to say that sodomy can be practiced by 2 consenting adults, which is legalizing sodomy. So that's why I'm here. I am against the move, and I feel that the government should do more to have stopped it. I don't know why the government took so long to get this report by the Chief Justice. I'm afraid that if it was earlier, things would have been different. But the long wait has made it worse for the nation. And we are being looked upon as scapegoats and look like a laughing stock by the rest of the Caribbean because they see Belize as being soft.
A parade was supposed to be part of the demonstration. However, there was a problem when a couple of the protesters broke the barrier and police responded. Several protesters then began hurling missiles at the officers. As a result of the incident, the permit for the parade was revoked. During today's sitting, Prime Minister Dean Barrow said he had sent a letter to the evangelicals asking for a meeting. We asked Pastor Lewis more about this letter.
I received the letter, but we have not responded yet because our main thing is that we want to see the Prime Minister saying that he will appeal the case. We believe that the Prime Minister has appealed other cases. We believe that this is of paramount importance, so it can be appealed. I don't know if there's any pressure on him that says that if I change my mind, I'm going to lose X, Y, and Z. So we feel that he could appeal it just as how he appealed for other cases. So we really don't want to see anything else but a change or a referendum.
But going back to the invitation to sit down and discuss, do you plan to do that any at all?
We have to talk. We have sat down with the Prime Minister different times, and we never expected what happened on August the 10th to have happened. I am just telling you what we did not expect.
The Prime Minister also said he was seeking an audience with the Roman Catholic bishop. The Belize City Senior Committee holds a gathering twice a month at the John Wesley Center to have activities with senior citizens. Today was a special day for the members as the Ramada Princess and Chan Sang restaurant provided a special lunch for them. Member of the committee, Muriel Arthurs, told us more about the group.
Today we've been preparing for our major performance at the Evening of Patriotic Songs and Poems, which takes place at Wesley Church on September 5th, and they'll be performing, and they're all enthused. They'll be wearing their t-shirts, and when they finish lunch today, they'll be making their own patriotic earrings. And we'll be doing another patriotic project that you might have heard us talk about. We're doing a pilgrimage to the grave of Simon Lamb, Mr. Golson, and other patriots to lay wreaths, and one of our members will be making all the patriotic wreaths.
Authors also addressed the marginalization of elderly people in society, stating that elderly people form an integral part of society and should never be left out.
We have been awed at a tremendous response. These ladies and the few men, and we need more men, by the way. Those of you listening, please join us. No charge, you just come. They look forward to coming. It has been unbelievable, the response. They enjoy this tremendously. And indeed, I would hope that there are more groups of seniors meeting throughout our country, because our seniors should never, never be neglected. And it's a joy for us to be doing what we're doing.
About 35 senior citizens took part in today's activities at the John Wesley Center. In the aftermath of Hurricane Earl, the homes and property of many families were left destroyed. The Red Cross of Belize has been receiving donations from organizations such as PACT, Petrocaribe, Fortis, and others. Today, the U.S. Embassy also made a donation to the Red Cross. U.S. Ambassador Carlos Moreno told us more about this donation.
Today's donation consists of mattresses, pillows, and bed linens. It's part of a larger grant of similar supplies that the U.S. government is providing through the Red Cross as part of our Hurricane Earl relief program. In total, we are giving about $315,000 worth of supplies, food, and other types of things that will assist the people of Belize at this time of great need. So following our gathering here, we're going to be proceeding to some of the residences at the Yarborough district and to provide these supplies, the mattresses and bed linens and pillows and so forth.
The assistance provided by the U.S. Embassy also helps the economy, as it was all purchased in Belize and based on a needs assessment, commented Ambassador Moreno.
These particular items, these are all locally purchased through a grant from the U.S. government to the Red Cross. And that particular grant amounts to $50,000. So from that, the Red Cross will use that to provide similar kinds of materials. I should also note that right after the hurricane, we provided a grant in the amount of $20,000. $10,000 was used to pay a private helicopter service to do 2 flyovers, one over the Belize area and one over the Belize River Valley area. At the same time, immediately after the hurricane, we provided a water filtration system for Bullet Tree, and also $7,500 worth of hygiene kits and supplies. So it depends on what is asked, and we try to respond as best as we can.
Director General of the Red Cross of Belize, Lily Bowman, spoke with Love News about the amount of families that they have been able to reach, emphasizing that they have reached 69% of their assessed families.
Right now we have started in Belize City, in the Yarborough area, Port Loyola, Lake Independence, and we believe that that's where we'll start right now, because that's where we're assessing in Belize City right now. Our main assessments so far have been in the rural north area, Ladyville, Vista Del Mar, Lords Bank, Mascal, Bomba, and then we have other areas in the Belize rural area that we'll be going into. We've just only started, I think, a week now in Belize City, and just filling in the gaps where probably the other actors in the field have not reached yet. And with this donation, I mean, it came in very timely for us now that we're in the city. We'll be taking them out there. So far, the Belize Red Cross has assessed 1,008 families, which equates to about 3,953 people. And we've already met and assisted 69% of that number. So we feel very, very proud of how the rate we're going. Our volunteers, I have to really big them up and thank them so much for giving us, an average of 12 hours every day, just beating the pavement, getting to those that have been most affected.
Over 400 families were aided by the assistance provided by the U.S. Embassy today. The Eastern Division South Police held yet another initiative to assist children in the south side of Belize City. 100 children received a school bag and school supplies from the division as they get ready to go back to school. Assistant Commissioner of Police Chester Williams tells us that many community organizations came together to assist the children.
This is an initiative that we started last year where we engage in back to school program. And you have heard us over and over saying that, one of the reasons why crime is the way it is on Southside Belize City is the fact that many of our children are out of school. Some of them not because they want to be out of school, but because of the fact they don't have the basic needs to go to school. And so we, the officers of Southside Eastern Division, we took the initiative that we will assist, because we know there are many people out there who are also doing the same, assisting children with back to school programs and supplies and so, but they cannot reach out to everyone. So what we do, we did a survey within the community and we try to identify those kids who we know have not been a recipient of a back to school program, and they are really in need, and those are the kids who we selected to be given the back to school bags today. And we collaborated, I must say, with Social Security, Belize Social Security. They are a very huge part of what we're doing here today. We also have Tony's, that is on Daly Street. And Tony's also contributed significantly to the event. And the police officers from within Eastern Division South, we contribute majority of the exercise books, pen, pencil, rulers, and we have Mr. Dion Lester from City Council, who also assisted. Mr. Jack Charles assisted as well. So we have a few people who chipped in to ensure that we could have gotten all we need to make this a success.
ACP Williams also commented that police officers chipped in to fill the children's bags with notebooks and stationaries. Residents in the Toledo district are preparing for the upcoming Yellow Ginger Festival. Paul Mahong reports.
Forest Home Village will be hosting this year's Yellow Ginger Festival in Toledo. This major cultural event is coordinated by East Indian Council of Belize Southern Chapter President Corlett Rumclum Palacio.
The objective of the third annual Yellow Ginger Festival is to retrieve and preserve our rich cultural heritage, namely our food, dance, music, cultural attire, traditions, and history of our East Indian people who came in the early 1800s to Belize, including the Toledo district. This year's third annual Yellow Ginger Festival will be held Sunday, August 28, 2016 from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. in Forest Home Village at the football field. Featured attractions will include yellow ginger dishes, live cooking demonstrations using traditional implements, rice beating, coconut husking and grating, making of masala, volleyball marathon, play cricket for fun, Indian music and dance.
Coordinator Corlett Rumclum Palacio, on behalf of East Indian Council of Belize Southern Chapter, extends a cordial invitation to members of the public and commented that this year's Yellow Ginger Festival promises to be a cultural and educational experience in Toledo. Reporting for Love News, Paul Mahone, Punta Gorda.
Gospel singer Reality Youth will be having a concert tomorrow night, and he is inviting the public to be a part of the uplifting event.
I'm just here to represent the gospel of Jesus Christ and to lift his name up across the nation of Belize. And I'm inviting each and every individual to come out, and each and every individual denomination to come. Our main focus is to reach young people for Christ, because if you look in the time we're in, there's so much violence, so much killing is going on. So my focus is to stand against all corruption and to just allow Jesus Christ to be the Lord, not only of my life, but of the nation, because we need to represent Jesus Christ as our Lord. Come in the Holy Ghost, well, yes, prepare. In a King Jesus Christ, demon flee and disappear. But if you speak God's words loud and clear.
The concert will take place at the Central Assembly Church on Freetown Road tomorrow night at 7:30. Our thought conditioner for today comes from Albert Einstein. It reads, quote, "Learn from yesterday, live for today, and hope for tomorrow," end of quote. This has been the evening news on Love Television, and we thank you for joining us. We also invite you to log on to our website at www.lovefm.com for transcripts of our news stories. Thank you for tuning in. Have a safe and enjoyable evening and weekend. With your evening news, I am Taryn Butcher.